Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. And welcome back to the OWLS Racing League, where it is finale day. It is the final round of the season. We are here for round 10 at Las Vegas of season 6. And the championship comes down to 2. Puzant versus Cook for the title. 7 points separate them heading into this evening's affair. But not only do we have the main feature race up for points to be scored, but we also have a sprint race for some extra points, some extra chaos to potentially come the championship protagonist's way. We are certainly going to be in for a hectic evening finale, this final race of the season in Sin City. Which one of the two will get the big prize? Which one will get their hands on that trophy before we head to sprint qualifying, should I say, as the drivers are on track side now. Quickly, now just head to the drivers' standings. So, as you can see, it's Puzant on 167 points. 7 points clear of Cook, the two in the title fight. Puzant has led every single weekend heading up to this final round of the season. And can Cook potentially deny the Alpine driver at the very death? Then got Liam and Joker there, and also Antikarupos, Newt Panda, all battling over that third place in the standings. They could certainly have a nice little scrap between themselves. So then we've got Ben, Jack Reynolds, Andy, Liam Bearder, Shefton, Spiky, Jammers, Harvey, Will, and Leo rounding out the top 15 drivers. But as I did mention, drivers are now trackside, so let's quickly head over trackside to see all the action that will unfold here in the sprint qualifying session. Only 12 minutes in a sprint quali compared to a full well, should I say a normal qualifying session we would have. Now head trackside. We are here with a Bond, but the first drive around is going to be one of the Kick Saubers. It is going to be Grief. Will be Grief. First one to take us on a tour of this circuit. Puzant is out on the road. We'll go on board with him a little bit later on, and Cook's still in pit lane. Let's see what Grief can do. Unsure if there is 2 sets of tyres or only the one, but Grief into that first corner, a little bit wide through there, just having to get power back down as nice and easy as possible as you head through turn 3. It's flat through there. DRS now open as you head down the next straight. As you head up into turn 4, you're going to be braking just at the 100-meter board down to third gear. Slowly rotate that car through the first sector split. A 26.9 so far for Grief. Oh, very wide indeed through turn 6, and that's going to cost him dearly as they now come through turn 8 and make their way into the fast right-left section, the fast S as I like to call this, and it's very difficult now through 10 to find your braking point for 11 because you're braking while turning, and it's just a small little meter board on the outside. DRS will now be open in a moment's time as you head halfway down of the Las Vegas Strip. Are we going to see Grief be able to get it stopped for the next chicane? The final couple of corners, the final braking zone on this circuit. Braking 100 meters down to third gear. Pick that power back up, a little bit of a wobble wide from that second apex as that was Dare joining the lobby as well. As now here comes Grief up to the line. What's this going to be? The benchmark lap time, 1 minute 34.0. Expect that to be beaten, but let's go on board with the current championship leader who's on the medium compounded tyres. And let's see what he can deliver as Jack Reynolds goes to the very top of the 32.2. And it's a second clear of Mika Bond. So, of course, with Puzant here as he's just come out of turn 11. Of course, the sprint is going to be quite crucial in this championship picture, because even if it's an extra point that Cook outscores Puzant from in that sprint race, it then opens the door heading into that feature as Joker's gone to the very top there to second. So nicely done there from there. Is going to see what Puzant can do on the medium compounded tyre. I think it's best if we do get the tyres at play. Harvey also on those medium slots into third fastest. Here comes Puzant to the line, and it is good enough for second. Joker carry on that strong, sweet form so far, and is so far on that provisional top spot. But Cook is now on a lap time as well, has just started their next attempt. Now it's a through on to the back straight, of course. Well, not the back straight just yet. Head through turn 8, and now, of course, through 9 and 10. Is Cook going to find anywhere near as much time as Puzant did on Puzant's previous lap? Of course, these two fighting for the title. Joker, after taking a race victory in Singapore, was followed it up with pole in Silverstone when we did the reverse circuit last week, and backed that up with a race victory. Is Joker going to be able to make it 4 competitive sessions in a row at the very top? Cook, of course, was in that contention for that race victory last time out alongside Puzant, but they just did not have a reply for the McLaren, who at this late end of the season has certainly had an up step in form. So for Cook, coming to the line, what's it going to be for the V-Carb? It's a 1 minute 31.9, just shy of Puzant, still 2 tenths shy of Joker, and Cook now sees himself into third place. There's, I think, also another thing for Joker that's been quite big. I'm not sure if they were on Steam to begin with, on PC should I say, but ever since moving to PC, they certainly have found a lot of grip. Joker used to be an Xbox driver, and that extra few temps seems to be valuable potentially next season if Joker does return. Good to see Joker having a strong season, potentially fighting for that title. Is not on a lap, neither is Swaggy. What about Alex? No, Alex is not pushing on. We've got Pinchy, not sure who that is, that's just joined, and he's set a 1 minute 38.0. Rory will now be coming along to the line in a few moments' time. This isn't on an improved lap though, so it wouldn't be surprised if this is coming into the pit lane. Joker and Puzant looking to find themselves onto the set of the softs. Joker has just come out on the road into the set of the softs. It'll be interesting to see what the pace difference is between the mediums and the soft compound tyre. And now for Joker, this is very crucial. But of course, we're at the end of the session now. We've only got 3 minutes to go. It's not your normal qualifying session here for the sprint qualifying, especially with it being on the shorter format. The thing, we would only be halfway through the session by now. But here we are, the dying embers of it, with drivers getting ready to start their final push laps, to start their final attempts at sprint pole position. And Joker will be the first to do so on a set of the soft compounded tyres. 31.7 was on the mediums. How big is the pace difference on the softs? Now making his way to the line. We're getting underway with no traffic in sight for Joker So this could be a very, very clean lap on the horizons. Down to third gear through the first corner. Slowly pull the car back through on the throttles. You head through 2 and now into 3. Small lift, but you still want to try be as flat out as possible. The DRS now open. Heading up into turn 4. One of the Ferraris keeps out the way quite nicely. Won't be too much of a distraction as you head onto the brakes. At 100 metres, easy to lock up the right front. The car naturally drifts to that left-hand side as well. Just want to get you to as close to the wall as possible. Up by 2 tenths in the first sector. Now through the middle sector. This is where a lot of the time can be found on these different compounds. Through turn 8. Again, another corner where the car just drifts out wide, closer to the wall. The Joker still seems very calm, very committed. A very strong lap time as of now. Down into turn 11. Third gear over that inside apex curve. Run the car out wide nicely. And through the middle sector, up by half a second. We could be seeing our first driver into the 1 minute 30s. If things stay as they are, we'll be using the battery. We'll be using as much of this tyre as they possibly can through the final couple of corners. And of course, this is a crucial braking zone. It's so difficult to find that 100 meter board on the right hand side, or potentially just brake that a little bit too early. As Buck gets through it quite nicely. No bottoming out, no of the rear of the car stepping out either. And here comes Joker to the line. What's this going to be for the McLaren? Are we going to see the first driver into the 30s here in this sprint qualifying session across the line? No, 1 minute 34.1.0. Still provisional pole, still extends that margin, but just not pole position just yet, as we still have other drivers on a lap time, like Dare, who's down by a tenth in the first sector. So for Dare now making his way down the Las Vegas strip. Currently in 5th fastest at the moment. Big shake-up in this grid. It's New Panda goes to 2nd. Liam goes to 3rd as well. Both the Mercedes drivers crossing the line at relatively similar times. And now here comes Dare. What's this going to be from the Haas? We'll move over to, I think it's Cook before Puzant. Dare not able to find anything in that lap. No, it's Puzant first, who's up by nearly 4 tenths in the first sector. So Puzant looking to try and snatch provisional pole away from Joker, but still needs a monster ascent to this lap. Panda is currently on that provisional front row. What about Cook, as he's now heading into the middle sector split? We'll head back to Puzant after we see the time. Sorry, first sector split here for Cook, and it's nearly half a second to the good. He's finding a bit more time. Then Puzant, Reynolds goes 4th fastest, and Puzant is up by nearly 7 tenths of a second through the middle sector. This is going to be oh so close between Cook and Puzant on who could potentially deny Joker of pole position. Joker going to be just waiting in the wings, going to be biting those fingernails as Ben goes to 7th fastest. Cook now coming up to that middle sector split. 8 tenths to the good. It is oh so close. Is Puzant going to do it? Is he going to take it away from Joker? And is he still going to be crucially denied pole position by Cook? Across the line from Puzant. He does snatch it away from Joker here in sprint qualifying. But all eyes now turn to his championship rival as Harvey goes to 5th fastest. It's all down to Cook, the man 2nd in the standings, chasing that championship crown. Chasing Puzant to try and claw that gap back down. Here comes Cook to the line. Is it enough to snatch it back away? No, it is not. A tenth shy of his championship rival. Joker splits the pair, and Puzant starts what could be a championship crowning evening in the way he would have wanted to. The man leading the way in the driver's standings takes pole position here for the sprint qualifying. We'll have the sprint coming up in a matter of moments. But Puzant starts his evening off perfectly. And that was a crucial qualifying session and a crucial pole position that the Alpine might have just picked up. So, your grid for the sprint is as follows. Puzant, Joker, Cook, Panda, Liam, Harvey, Ericsson, Reynolds, Ben, Dare rounds out your top 10. And it's Muse, A-Team, Swaggy, Massive, Mika, Bon, Alex, Rory, and Grief. And I don't think that OH Pinchy is meant to be on the grid. And so it is going to be Grief who rounds out the field. But we are now into the sprint, of course. It's going to be a 9-lap dash here at Vegas. Going to be interesting to see what tyres people go on to before the start. And also in that, what the difference is in pace and what the tyre drop-off is like and how risky they're going to take this sprint. And is Joker going to try get the run onto Puzant, heading down into turn 1 and maybe snatch the move away from the Alpine. Of course, for Puzant, an extra point means he can really clinch this title tonight. 5 red lights are on. It's Puzant and Joker on the front row of the grid, and we are underway here in Vegas for the sprint, and it's Puzant who leads the way well. Joker now gonna try and hold on to this one. Everyone's still ghosting for now. There's contact. That's between Panda and Joker. I think everyone's ghosting on each other's screen, so they got caught out there. But Joker into the wall, losing a part of the front wing, and that is crucial for the McLaren. That now leaves Puzant into the race lead. For some reason it says Harvey. That should surely sort itself out once we get to that first sector split, or even once we finish to that. There we go. Puzant back to that race lead. Dare and Rory dropping down throughout the field. Dare started 10th, now down to 12th. Muse and the A-team now squabbling as well a little bit further up. Ben also involved in that squabble. 2 Aston Martins fighting with a Red Bull, and there's a big crush in the background. I think that's Grief. Straight into the wall. No, it's Pinchy. Grief in the wall. Alex in the wall alongside his teammate of Massive. And it's all kicked off there. As I think we've got a battle between the two McLarens. No, we do not. Harvey just not close enough to the back of Joker. As Jack Reynolds now drops behind the A-team, who's had an electric start in this one. New Panda could be all over the back of Cook by the time we reach that last chicane. And as we quickly look at the tyres, everybody's on. It's everybody on the medium compounded tyre thus far. With a 9-lap shootout, it is going to be very quick and very frantic, and we're going to be waiting for that DRS to be enabled for Cook to really have his first opportunity. Ben now able to get by on to Jack Reynolds, and so is Muse as well. They're side by side now heading down that main straight. And who's going to come out on top here? Through the final corner we go. Onto the brakes, late goes Muse, but Reynolds will surely have the run when they come out of the corner. Does get the run, but to the inside stays Muse through turn 3. More contact between the pair, and I think there might be a little bit of a connection issue there on, of course, Jack Reynolds' ends, because he's a little bit laggy, ghosting as well as Swaggy. Now it's to the inside of Muse through 4. That's a very risky place to send a lunge. It is going to be Swaggy who has to just cede the position. And Muse holds on to that 11th place for now, but goes really deep into the chicane. And this might open up the door for the Red Bull, for the V-Cub, sorry, to fight back. There's Swaggy. Going to get close enough for a move. As at the front of the field as well. Cook just about within DRS range of Puzant, but look behind Cook. It is Nuke Panda waiting in the wings. Here we go, then DRS open for the pair of them at this very point. And who's going to come out on top? Will Panda go for the move, or will Cook just get close enough to Puzant to potentially turn his lunge into an attack? Panda to the inside. Cook trying to hold this one around the outside. Knows it's crucial to keep the position. Does keep the position just about. And Panda has to settle for 3rd once again. But here we have the slipstream, the battery run in the wings of the V-Carb, just trying to tuck in as much as they can. Can't get the move done, but further back, Joker might be looking for a move here on Liam. Liam goes really deep into the corner, brake as late as he dared, but it was a little bit too late. And Joker says, thank you very much. I'll move up into 4th place and take that position away from you. May have damage, but Joker still lightning fast. As now we see Ericsson dropping down throughout the field. Potentially he's just made a mistake behind Harvey. Puzan and Cook still squabbling away. Nuke Panda has fallen back a little bit through this middle sector, but seems to get a mega run through turn 11. And that's where we can now see Nuke Panda get those opportunities once again, but just isn't really as close this time around. And that now gives Cook an ample opportunity to potentially attack Puzan in front. DRS open for the V Club, just can't seem to get close enough to the Alpine just yet. Of course, Puzan will score an extra point and I'll take it to 8 points between those two for the race, for the championship. As Swaggy is finally able to get past now on Muse. Ericsson was able to get past his teammate of Jack Reynolds. Now we're going to see him move further up. It seemed like Cook was getting close to Puzan, just not close enough, but they've started to really break away here from Panda. They might have just used those tyres too early. Now a DRS open down into turn 4. Cook is just want to try. The main goal here for Cook is to try and stick to the back as Pinchy has left the session. But just to try and stay at the back of the Alpine, just clinch onto that rear wing. But Panda's really closed up as well. There's a yellow flag in the first sector, and I think that's for Grief, who's come into some troubles. And yes, Grief has come into some troubles. I think losing the front wing as well, at least part of it. Yes, part of the front wing has now gone into the wall at turn 4, and that has really put pay to Grief's race, who was running in 15th. So then for Cook, just drops back out of at least a 4/10 window coming out of turn 11, but we'll have the slipstream, we'll have the DRS now down this next straight, down the Las Vegas strip, and I just don't think it'll be enough. Get close enough for a move here on Puzan. Isn't really using too much battery either. I think he's just really focusing until the end. Harvey has made a move now onto Liam. Ben was able to get past the A-team, and Reynolds was able to get past Ericsson there. So plenty of moves being made in the secrets of corners. This Joker has been able to get past Panda. There must have been a considerable mistake there from the Mercedes, who was all over the back of Cook. Now being overtaken by Joker, who's really on a comeback drive now in the McLaren. Even with front wing damage, it is not phasing Joker at all, and it's just allowing them to push on. And next on their list is going to be Cook and Puzan to maybe take the race lead. Here comes Cook, closing in on Puzan, who have to defend the inside line. And Cook just sitting behind for now still once again. Lap 5 of 9. We've got 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix. We've reached that halfway stage. It'll be frantic racing all the way to the very end. So for Cook, good run out of here this time around. Could certainly see him within overtaking opportunities. About a 10th closer this time around than he was last. And is this going to be the opportunity that Cook needs to get the move done here onto Puzan? We'll open the DRS now, and we'll get closer and closer and closer. But at the moment, it just does not seem to be close enough. But the overspeed is huge, especially down the latter part of this straight. Just sit behind once again. But if Joker gets too close, we'll surely be forced into an overtaking move, as Puzan is slow out of the chicane. Oh, that's good, some good straight line speed after saving that battery. Swaggy and Muse go side by side. Swaggy has to cede that position, and Puzan just having to defend the inside. Cook is certainly starting to become a bit more racier, has certainly found their way into this stint. And is he going to find his way through? DRS will be open up into turn 4. Joker getting closer as well. The McLaren will be looking for any picks, any pieces from any contact that could potentially happen between the top two here. Of course, the top two in the standings, they'll be racing each other too for now, because they know every position against one another is oh so crucial. For Cook, I think he really is potentially just waiting for a late move onto this one, a last lap move, get the position done. But you put a lot of faith in yourself to do that. A lot of faith in the tyres and the car that will hold on, and the car behind, not getting the move done. So then, he's a lot closer this time around. DRS open. Cook, he's getting closer, closer, closer. Is he going to go for the move? It doesn't seem so. Puzan will defend the inside, but Cook just not wanting to get it done just yet. He is waiting for that final lap. But look, who is now right behind him as they come out of that chicane. It is Joker, the man who started second place in this Grand Prix. Now going to be looking to try and take the race lead. Cook potentially forced into attack of his own. Free wide into turn one. Joker on the inside. Puzan in the middle. And that's Cook on the outside. Being squeezed wide. There's contact. Puzan sent round. Puzan sent spinning. The championship leader is round after contact with Joker. And with this result, if it stays as it is, Cook heading into that main race will take the championship lead by 1 point. Disaster for Puzan here in the sprint. The championship leader has gone round and it's down to 10th. We'll need to try and claw back to 8th to go to level pegging heading into the final round of the season, but that's not one the championship leader would have wanted as Muse has a slide out of turn 4. Cook was on the outside, nowhere for him to go. Puzan bounces off, drops the rear, and then into Joker he goes. A racing incident at its finest. 3 drivers racing super aggressively. And for Cook, he's broken that second gap to Nuke Panda behind. He could be staring at heading into the championship lead. And we could also be looking at our first championship lead change all season long. Disaster for Puzan when he needs it the least. The championship leader could now see his championship challenge dwindle. But still, of course, the feature race will remain, but the challenge will be even harder. It will be whoever wins will take the title. Harvey now being overtaken by both the A-Team and Ben. But this has certainly thrown up a little bit of an extra spice, a little bit of an extra interest, a little bit of an extra intrigue into this final round of the season. The fact that Cook could potentially dethrone Puzan in the sprint race. Joker not able to get within a second yet of Cook. We've got 2 laps remaining in this sprint. Nuke Panda is just behind as well. That's going to be a battle for second and third as Puzan actually might now drop even further down the order. He's missing both front end plates and that will make this struggle even worse. Yes, Ericsson has a 3-second time penalty, but Puzan isn't even there to capitalise at this moment in time. The championship leader has gone around. Puzan, who especially at the very start of the season was seeming like an untouchable force. We thought this title could have been wrapped up weeks ago. But in the past 3 or 4 weeks, the past 3 or 4 races, it's just not really gone the Alpine's way ever since that win in Monaco. From Liam to break the streak, I don't actually think Puzan has won since. As Ben's able to get past Harvey up into 5th place. And on the final lap, we could still see some more drama. Joker now within 6/10 of Cook in front. It'll be a battle of the battery. And also through this middle sector, Cook will be stronger because he doesn't have the wing damage. Though Joker is getting closer. Panda not within a window to attack. And heading on to this final straight, he's got one more DRS zone really one more opportunity at taking this race victory away from Cook in the sprint. And if he does get this done, Puzan and Cook will be level heading into the final round of the season, heading into that final race, which will be coming up in a few moments' time after a qualifying session. Joker's getting closer and closer. This is super close. Late on the brakes from the McLaren, and Cook has just been able to hold on, but we still have this run, but Joker with a slide. That's ruined it completely, and in this sprint, it was aggressive racing, but Cook has been able to reign supreme. Here in Vegas, he cashes in early and takes the championship lead heading into the feature race. A story we thought would not happen heading into this evening, that come the sprint race, Puzan will be the one on the back foot, but Cook wins here in Vegas. He wins the sprint, and some crucial points come the way of the V-Carb, and now the ball's in his court. It's still very much whoever beats the other is going to be your driver's champion. But it does also mean that if Puzan finishes in 9th and Cook finishes in 10th, it does give that extra point and that extra swing into Cook's favour. That will mean that Cook potentially could reign supreme here. But Cook takes the sprint. And this championship fight is well and truly alive. This is what it's all come down to. 1 point between the top two heading into the final round of the season. I think if you told anyone this coming into the start of the season, after we saw Puzan's domination, they would have took your hand off. They would have been like, no chance. But Cook has fought back. It's Cook, Joker, Panda, Liam, Ben, Harvey, A-Team, and Reynolds rounding out your sprint finishes in the points. And it's Ericsson, Puzan, Swaggy, Muse, Alex, Mika, Bond, Rory, Grief, and Massive rounding out your finishers. So now, we head over to the main qualifying session, I believe. Yes, we are. We are now into the main qualifying session. 18 minutes of qualifying coming up. They've had plenty of laps to practice this circuit now of these drivers, but this is it. The final qualifying of the season. Puzan will be looking to come back after a disappointing sprint with a vengeance, looking to try and reclaim that championship lead. He's led it since the off, since that first round of the season, and is now potentially seeing themselves lose it all in the span of one evening, the most crucial evening of this season. Oh boy, I cannot wait for this session to really get going. And for the battle between Puzan and Cook to run all the way down to the wire. It is Mika Bond out onto the circuit first. Puzan is out on the road. No, Puzan is not out on the road too. That's Swaggy, who's also out on the road. So we'll watch Mika's lap, of course, being the first one out here in qualifying. See what the benchmark is from the Red Bull. So for Mika, let's get underway here in this qualifying session. Have warmed up the tyres. First attempt. Heading down now through into turn 1, braking as the curb starts, down to third gear, runs the car out wide and then picks up that throttle. Heading through the right-hander of turn 3. DRS now open for the Red Bull driver. Now make their way into, of course, turn 4. Back on the power. First sector split 26.8. Not too bad through the first sector there, actually, excuse me, from Mika. A little bit wide from the apex of 6. Then compromises to run through 7. Through 8, a little bit wide from the apex once again, and just drifts a little bit too close to the wall for their liking. Now into turn 11, slowly rolling that car through. Gets a little bit of oversteer on corner exit. And now we'll go for that run all the way down the Las Vegas strip. That final chicane. Late on the brakes at 100 metres, down to second gear for Mika. Usually you want to go down to third and then back on the power for the Red Bull. They make their way through the first couple of, through the final corner. That's a 32.8. That is the benchmark now set by Mika Bond. As we still have Swaggy to the line. Swaggy sets a 32.2. About 6 tenths quicker than Mika on that occasion. We've now got Dare through the final corner. And has actually invalidated the lap, so that will be an aborted one from him. New Panda is pushing. It'll be interesting how New Panda does. This will be a proper benchmark for the drivers at the top of the field, because we know New Panda was in contention for pole position in the sprint qualifying. That's going to be the same sort of scenario here in the feature. We will have to wait and see. But up to the line now comes New Panda. So 1 minute 31.3. That is the new benchmark at the top of the times. And of course, in a short qualifying session, the track evolution is going to be a bit more detrimental. So what we just seen there from New Panda at the off from the word go, you could see a big 5 to 6 tenth improvement on the end of the session. Now heading up into turn 4 here with Puzan. This is a crucial session for the Alpine. Gets out-qualified by Cook. It could be going from bad to worse. If he's able to out-qualify Cook, could be in the money. As Joker goes to second fastest, so 1 minute 31.3. Just shy of New Panda. Now onto the brakes for Puzan. Over the middle sector split will go with the Alpine driver, 56.2, apparently purple through there as well. Got a lovely slipstream actually of Harvey, Joker's teammate. Ben goes up into third fastest of 31.8, not too bad there from the Aston Martin driver. As here comes Puzan up to the start-finish line. Or start-finish line, sorry, up into the final chicane. As Massive goes up to sixth fastest. This is a crucial lap. This is the benchmark for Puzan and Cook, the two title rivals, the first of the pair across the line in the main qualifying session. Here we are then for Puzan, and it's provisional pole from the Alpine, a 1 minute 31.2, just under a tenth clear of New Panda. But that is how you kickstart a championship campaign, potential championship winning qualifying session, with the benchmark time for everybody to aim at, as Cook has now started his lap, as he's now heading up into turn 4. Through the first sector split, it's 26.4, somewhat even there with Puzan. We head into 6, 7, be into turn 8. Slowly roll the car through, taps the wall on corner exit. Could potentially cost him a little bit of time. It's now coming up into some traffic of Harvey and also Puzan, but it doesn't affect him too badly. Now, late on the brakes into turn 11. Over that inside curve, Puzan will just keep off to that left-hand side. 56.2 through the middle sector. I think we're tracking about 2 tenths down on what Puzan did on that previous tour. That 31.2. Could be looking at a 4th place at the moment here with Cook, but heading up that final chicane now. DRS Open uses a little bit of battery, but saves some for that final run to the line. And is able to get through that final chicane really nicely. And through the final corner we go. Is this enough to match Puzan or even get anywhere near that time? It is close enough to get near that time. It's the front row of the grid, but it is not beating his championship rival Puzan to that top spot by the barest of margins. 64 thousandths of a second separate the top 2. Panda following in tow from Joker. It is very, very close between these drivers as there is on a lap time now coming up to the line. One of the kick salvage just going slowly heading up to the line. Wouldn't be surprised if that's potentially brief. At 7th place for Dare. I think something's happened to Rory's. They've gone really slow into that final chicane, or potentially just saving the battery to go again. As that's someone shooting up the order. I think that was Liam up into 5th. It was Liam up into 5th with a 31.4. So he now puts himself into contention for a front row start. Harvey's pushing on as well, 56.4 through that middle sector, about 2 tenths down from what we saw Cook do. So this is actually tracking on to be a very good run as well from the McLaren. Seems both the McLaren boys in this one seem to have some strong turn-ups in form this evening. Of course, Joker looking to try and make it another pole position to the tally. Harvey just looking to get a strong result and a strong end to this season. Across the line we go now with Harvey. It's a 1 minute 31.8. Slots in behind Ericsson and Ben. Front of Dare. Lost a bit more time through the final sector. And for Harvey, up into 8th place. Not too shabby there. And top 3 runners, the top 8 are very much closely matched. 6 tenths separates those top 8 cars. And from Buzzant to Liam, only 2 tenths of a second. Of course, this session's going to look a little bit different from what we're used to with the regular qualifying format. They've used some tyres to bring, of course, in that sprint, they've used some tyres, so they won't have as many soft tyres available. I think they'll only have 2 available at their disposal, potentially 3, depending on how many they use in sprint and in quali of the sprint. We're going to see drivers on very different run plans to what we're used to. As New Panda is actually pushing on a lap down in the first sector by a 10th. Let's see how the Mercedes recovers through the remainder of the lap. Through the middle sector split, has found a 10th of a second, is still down by 6 thousandths of a second though. Been finding time throughout the entirety of that middle sector. Is they going to find any more time through the final part of the lap? If they do, I could potentially see them up onto the front row of the grid, or if it's enough, see them up to the very, very top spot. Heading now down through the final chicane. And into that main straight, through the final corner we'll go. Is Panny going to do enough to potentially go into the front row of the grid? Is there any time found? There is time found, but it's just not enough. Take that P2 spot away from Cook. Out on the circuit. But for Puzant and Cook, they've survived Newt Panda's attempt. Now, all eyes will turn to Joker. As they now get underway. For Joker, let's see what the McLaren can do. Newt Panda was able to find some time. It wasn't enough to displace Cook and Puzant. And for Joker, it's going to be all about this one now. Through the first sector split. Is it going to be enough to try and snatch this away from Puzant? This could actually be Joker's final attempt. 600s up in that first sector will be enough to move in front of Panda. And I think would also just be enough to move in front of Cook. But now as we make our way through turn 8 and down through turns 9 and 10. From right to left, braking while turning, a difficult braking spot. So it's actually one of the kick salvers in the way. That's going to cost him ever so slightly, up by a tenth. Though in the middle sector, sorry. Here is Joker. It will split the top two in this qualifying session. This will be Joker's final attempt, you would think. But all eyes on this, the money shot, the money lap. And will this be enough to potentially steal the chips away from Puzant and take that provisional pole position as we now head through the final corners? And for Joker, is this enough to snatch provisional pole away? Was there time in the final part of the lap, or did it just fall away at the very end? Across the line we go with Joker, and it is enough to snatch provisional pole away. 2 attempts found as a 1 minute 31.1. Puzant and Cook now have to respond. As we could see, the top 3 in the same order as the sprint heading into this one. There is pushing on as well. So Williams moving out of the way. Down by a tenth and a half through the first sector. Very middle sector. And Fadare will now be hitting the brakes, getting the car slowed down to third gear. Oh, a little bit of a slide, taking a bit too much apex curb there. And now Fadare through the final corner we go. Did find a tenth of a second on the 31.9, but stays 9th fast. It's not enough to find a position. Ericsson retires. Still yet to see Cook and Puzant come out for their final attempts. But plenty of time still to go in this session. Gives them a little bit of time to work with. Puzant now comes out onto the road. Be trundling out of the pit lane. For Puzant as he now heads out onto the road. Is Cook trundling down the pit lane yet? Yes, they are. And it's going to be close here for Cook actually to get to the line. So really needs to put a hustle on there. Does have a big gap to the cars in front. Panda has been able to come out again. Joker is done. That's Joker's session over and done with. So the Joker, once again, just like we saw in the sprint, will just be sitting there anxiously biting at the fingernails. Will be just hoping either Puzant or Cook improve. And for Puzant, he would love a car in between himself and Cook once again in a qualifying session. Because, of course, if they finish in the top 3, it will be whoever's higher in that position, in that top 3, will take the title. The 18th retired. I think that was a crash on the circuit, actually, out of turn 2. But here we are now with Puzant, the championship leader all the way until now, where Cook has snatched it away through that sprint. Down to third gear through the first corner. Very aggressive through that first turn as you then pick up the power. Through turn 3 we go. A little bit of a slide as Pinchy and Cook have collided. And has Cook got front wing damage from that? It's invalidated the lap. And will Cook even have enough time to go round? I think Cook is just about fine. But disaster there for Cook as 2 attempts to the good now is Puzant. And Cook didn't make it to the line. Cook didn't make it to the line. Contact with Pinchy. And Puzant might now just see himself, but a car in between himself and Cook. We have the same starting top 3 as we did in, of course, the sprint. But we still have the likes of New Panda and Liam on the line. 2.5 attempts to the good now from Puzant. Oh, we're going to see our first 1 minute 30 of this session. As he now makes his way down the Las Vegas Strip. And New Panda's found an improvement. Up into second for Panda. It goes from bad to worse here for Cook. Liam, I'm not sure if he's on an improvement, but Puzant certainly setting himself in for a provisional pole position and what looks like will be a pole position. Across the line from Puzant, he does take pole! A 1 minute 30.9. Liam is improving, but only slightly, so it'll be 4th place for Cook. But drama here in qualifying as Liam across the line does find some time, not able to displace Cook. And for Cook, disaster here in qualifying. It was disaster for Puzant in the sprint, and for the main race qualifying, disaster for the man who's inherited that championship lead. And Puzant takes pole position once again here in Vegas. But oh boy, the controversy here with Pinchy. As, of course, the kick Sauber is so far off the pace. As Alex didn't even set a lap time, so it won't start last, but so far off the pace. And has just costed the championship leader a chance for pole position. So your order is as follows. It is Puzant, Joker, Newt Panda, Cook, Liam, Harvey, Ben, Ericsson, Dare, Swaggy, Jack Reynolds, Massive, A-Team, Rory, Mika, Grief, and Alex. As we are going to have a lobby restart heading into the main race. I think it's to remove Pinch. I'm not too sure. But a lobby restart has been called, ladies and gentlemen. So stick around, fill up your snacks, get some drinks, pop to the toilet. We'll be back in a few moments' time for the championship decider here in Las Vegas. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Las Vegas. We've got the 6.120 kilometer circuit for you this evening with 17 corners, of course, here on the magnificent racing facility, the 3.803 mile circuit. I say not 3 miles. And of course, we have RS zones around this circuit, one between turns 4 and 5, and the other turn 13 and 14, but let's quickly head trackside as we are now getting underway for the race. It's Puzant and Joker on the front row once again, and we go racing. Once again here in Vegas, we are underway for the feature race, and it's a good start from Puzant from that pole position, and also a good start from Joker as well. I think there's some contact in the background. Drivers falling down throughout the field. Mika Bond with a 10-second time penalty for some severe contact with teammate Must, who has potentially gone around. But as we can see, heading through into turn 5 now, is it going to be Panda or is it going to be Cook who comes out on Joker who comes out on top there in the battle for second? It is going to be Panda, who just has to slot in behind. We've got Ericsson versus Swaggy, make that 18 versus Swaggy over P8 in this Grand Prix. And there's Swaggy now dropping further back behind Liam, who's now down 10-4, and there's contact between the two Williams cars once again on the opening tour here in Vegas. Alex and Massive once again come to blows, as that's also, I think, Dare and Mika Bond into the wall. It is. They both pick up some front wing damage as well. Disastrous opening that for Mika, especially. Pick up a 10-second time penalty. And now some front wing damage. But Newt Panda is under pressure now from Cook, who will want to make some early advances in this one. As his championship rival, the man 1 point behind him now in the standings, looking to capitalise on the qualifying order. But not able to get a move done is Cook just yet. Bring up the tyres. Everybody on the set of the mediums except from Grief on the hards. And surely Cook is going to throw a lunge to the inside here onto Newt Panda. No, he's going to look around the outside. It's the V-Carb driver, but Panda will hold the inside firm. Surprised we didn't see more robust racing there from Cook to get to the inside to at least pick off one car already. But Panda with a poor run out of 4, and that's a brilliant launch that Cook has just got compared to the Mercedes, and that's just allowed him to sail straight by. Panda went wide. Cook says thank you very much, I'll capitalise on that mistake. Moves himself up into third place just after we mentioned how he wasn't really robust or aggressive against the Mercedes. Panda makes a mistake and just allows Cook by with sheer ease. And now it's the 3 who of course were all involved in that accident at the front of the field in the sprint. Now, for Cook, he's got to get past the McLaren of Joker. Panda falling backwards here. He's now been passed by Harvey and also Ben as well. Potentially just went wide out of turn 11. And now we've got DRS open here for what could be 2 cars. It'll be of Ben and also for Newt Panda. It's going to be the Mercedes trying to fight back to at least for a couple of 2 places he just lost. There's contact between the Aston Martin and the Mercedes into the final chicane. They're still side by side, running each other right to the wall. And it's Panda who comes out on top. But here comes Harvey, who's capitalised now with a better exit. Panda derating. He's not got the battery to last as we're 3 wide heading down the main straight. And it's going to be just Newt Panda holding on, you would think. Ben not able to look to the inside line. Liam looking to the inside here on Ericsson for the 8th place as it currently stands. And he's up into that 8th place. For Ericsson, he drops down a place. But as we head back up to that battle between these 3 drivers in front, Harvey and Ben still squabbling side by side. Who's going to come out on top here? Ben will be looking to the inside into turn 4. Very early on the brakes there from Harvey. There's now contact with the A-team, who had to launch to the inside in avoidance. And that might now allow Liam an extra place up through the order it has. Liam up into 7th. 2 places done in a matter of a sector. And luckily was able to capitalise there off the A-team and Harvey's accident. As now to the inside goes Liam at turn 11 against Harvey. And he gets the move done up into 6th place. And that's now put Harvey offline. And he's now going to drop behind both Liam and the A-team in the span of one straight, but now they might fight back against Liam heading down the Las Vegas Strip, as we now see Harvey looking to the inside of the A-team. We saw this not too long ago with Nuke Panda versus Ben. There's contact, and the Harvey spent into a half spin, and he's dropped down to 11th place. The A-team holds on as there's Joker making a move for the race lead, meaning it's the two title protagonists now second and third on the road, as Liam has been able to get past the A-team, and so is Ericsson maybe looking to the inside. There's contact between him and the A-team, I think, as Jack Reynolds is now pushing further forwards. He's up into 9th place, passing Harvey. I think Rory had a moment of his own. There was a yellow flag in the first sector, and now Ben is looking for a move on Nuke Panda. Not close enough, and the top three have really broken away thanks to all this squabbling. 3.5 seconds clear after the first 4 laps. Cook staring at his championship rival. That diffuser, that rear wing of the Alpine, is staring him right in the face. Is he? Look for a move potentially at any point on this circuit. For Cook, he's getting closer, but Puzan is getting closer to the back of Joker, and he'll pull to the inside line with the DRS and moves himself up back into that race lead. Gets the car back between himself and Cook, but it's a poor run out of the chicane here, and Joker might fight back in the exact same fashion he did on that previous tour, as Mika Bond has just come out of the pit lane, as we now see Joker fighting through here with Puzan. Is he going to look to the outside line? You bet the McLaren will. Going to be as late on the brakes as he possibly dares. Of course, these two came to blows in the sprint at this very corner, and Joker's still keeping a nose there, but just isn't able to get the move done and get that lead back. But this is going to be ever-changing as this race progresses. Now, Cook might be looking for a move himself, but no, has to back out of it for now. This is going to be a race that certainly does ebb and flow. Different drivers hitting the front of the field at a different time, a bit like a peloton. Something you can see in Formula 8. Jack Reynolds and Harvey now squabble, and still squabble as Harvey might have just had a huge moment and has dropped behind Reynolds, is out of DRS range, and that might now have just allowed Swaggy to potentially get a run. Does get a run, and Swaggy moves up into the top 10 as Joker, half a second behind Puzan, isn't really within attacking range just yet. But if he can get a good slingshot up to the back of the Alpine and then get a good run out of the chicane once again, certainly see himself move back up into that race lead, but it's getting closer and closer as we head down the Las Vegas Strip. Not close enough though, as Nuke Panda is able to get past Ben. Swaggy able to re-overtake. Harvey able to re-overtake Swaggy. And Joker not able to get the run he needs to get past there on Puzan. So heading up into turn 5 once again. Joker just not close enough for that move. These guys now 4 seconds clear of Nuke Panda behind. Of course, we are really focusing on the battle at the front of the field because it is with the two title protagonists. 1 point separate him as Alex has retired in the pit lane. He's our first casualty of the evening. As the drivers slide their way through into turn 11. Look how close Cook is to the back of Joker. Are we going to see a move here from the V-Carb? Onto the McLaren as we head down that Las Vegas Strip. Of course, that yellow flag in the first sector still there for Alex, as Joker once again, not close enough for the move there on Puzat. Ben able to get back past there on Nuke Panda. That's going to be a gap that constantly switching. They constantly will keep trading places. Now tucked up in that slipstream once more. Are we going to see that lunge from Joker into turn 1? No, just nowhere near close enough to do so. It's actually a big bottleneck starting to form behind Ben. It's gone down to Ericsson at the moment. The A team's just a little bit further back, but Ben's got 3 cars now in that DRS right behind him. Drops behind 1. Could potentially then be swallowed up by Liam or Ericsson straight after, depending how poor of a run he does get down the Las Vegas Strip and how powerful that DRS truly is. Everybody else around him, of course. We are looking at that one-stop strategy onto the from the mediums onto the hards. And now heading down the Las Vegas Strip. I think we're going to see the same story as what we did on the past few laps as well. Joker just getting within around about a 10th and a half, just then not close enough to get the move done. Under braking. As we see Nuke Panda get past Ben, and Ben has just been able to survive against, of course, Liam behind. Ericsson's really dropped out of DRS range as we see Joker get the move done on Puzant. He's got the move done once again. The swap for the race lead has happened into the first corner. And once again, Cook is in prime position to try and get past his championship rival. And you think he would do it sooner rather than later, so he knows he has the opportunity to get it done, because it is 1 point in the standings between them. Whoever comes out on top here between the pair, whoever finishes in front of the other, will be your champion. The Joker, he's just the extra catalyst in the mix as Jack Reynolds and the A-Team go side by side. Reynolds is able to hold on to that 8th place for now. The A-Team really is pounding Ferrari, putting a lot of pressure on to the back of the prancing horse. Got a flag in the first sector. That looks like it's Ferrari. It is Ferrari who's into the wall at turn 5. Missing part of their front wing. Now look to the front of the field once more. Are we going to see Puzant go for that run once again onto Joker? It looks like we will. Heading down the Las Vegas Strip. It's going to be all about this braking zone. Joker will get the exit, so hopefully for Joker's sake, get another similar run as Nuke Panda's dropped behind both Liam and Ben. And look at this for a squabble between these 3. Joker not going to be getting close enough to Puzant at the front of the field. So I'll keep an eye on these guys now as they will squabble their way along. It's the 2 Mercedes versus the Aston Martin. We're 3 wide through the final corner. How they've kept it clean through there, I do not know. But look at Nuke Panda. He's dropped behind the 2. Could be trying to find their places. Back around the outside. He goes through turn 1 alongside Ben as they go side by side now through turns 3 and 4. Both go wide, and that's allowed Liam to shimmy down the inside and see himself up into 5th place, and now potentially attack his teammate of Nuke Panda. He's going to be to the inside into turn 5. It's very, very aggressive on the brakes. He understeers back over to that left-hand side. Is now ahead. That's invited Ericsson into play as well. And for Liam, he's up into 4th place, been able to pass 2 cars in that battle. He's now at the very head of that train, but look at that, 7.5 seconds behind the top 3. For Nuke Panda, very, very strong to be able to get past Ben as well and manage to hold on against the Aston Martin after all that. Back at the front of the field, Joker has dropped off a little bit compared to Puzant. This could be Cook's one and only opportunity to get by. No, just not close enough. Very much all about the DRS train at the moment. Nuke Panda will get past his teammate Liam into the braking zone. But Liam actually trying to go for the up and under, not able to do so. And actually, we see a swap between Joker and Cook. Cook gets the better run, as actually no, Joker comes into pit lane. Joker into the pits. We'll do 15 lap on the hards. And he's gone for that undercut. So now, what do Puzant and Cook do? Of course, Joker was the first one in last time out in Silverstone. And it worked out very nicely indeed. And are we going to see that undercut work into Joker's favour once more? He's got 2.5 seconds to Swaggy in front. That should be more than enough to hold on to for the V-Carb. So Joker should be clear to push through this middle sector. But do Cook and Puzant react on this lap? The opportunity for them to react, go into pit lane and potentially hold on to the DRS of the McLaren. Something we'll have to wait and see. There will be DRS open for the V-Carb, so he will be all over the back of the Alpine by the time we reach that chicane. Look at that Joker now, 1.2 behind Swaggy. If he can get DRS, that could be oh so crucial for this race. That will now give him the helping hand over Puzant. It's going to be close. It's going to be really close and will get DRS over Swaggy. Now Puzant and Cook will be on the back foot because Joker has got a healthy dosage down that main straight. Are we going to see these two come into pit lane? Yes, we are. They react together just like they did in Silverstone. Newt Panda able to get back past on Liam, as I think Newt's going to come into pit lane. He will. Joker would be held up slightly from Swaggy in all of this, as he now comes into pit lane. Liam, Ben and Ericsson stay out. But where do Puzant and Cook come out in relation to Joker? Joker heading into that first corner. You see the McLaren there. He's actually been jumped. He's been jumped by Puzant. And he's side by side with Cook on the corner exit. Just not able to get by. But does Cook have DRS? I think he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Cook doesn't have DRS. Joker does, and Joker will be able to hold on for now. But of course, for Puzant and Cook, they'll have to try and warm up these tyres, whereas Joker has at least got one lap of a heat cycle through him. And that could now give the McLaren a better opportunity to move forward throughout the remainder of this race. Rory picking up a time penalty as well for track limits. As Ericsson and Ben have swapped places at the front of the field with the DRS. Are we going to see Joker do the same here? Puzant? No, will just be well too far back. Look at the run that Cook's got on the McLaren coming out of the chicane, but just isn't able to get that final push out of the final corner. Or the penultimate corner, should I say. Over the back of Puzant. Still within fighting range as well. So then, for Joker, will be coming on the pressure here from Cook. Has a good exit out of turn 8, lap 12 of 25. Bring that halfway stage of this race. We're around about now that halfway stage of this race, halfway through lap 12. Thing for Cook is that if Puzant's able to wiggle Joker out of DRS range, that will not do his championship chances any world of good. Joker just, again, not being close enough, but we know Joker does like a good old exit out of here, the final chicane. To then get the move done through the final corner. And that could be what is happening now. To the outside goes Joker as we head through the final corner. Going to be side by side heading down into turn 1. Puzan just tucks back in. Joker now up into that race lead once again. And surely now the strategy is in Puzan and Cook's hands. We're going to see the V-Carb put up a fight against his championship rival, because it's crucial to get by. So out of turn 8 we go. He could have it all over the back of Puzan, and he gets close, but then of course when you get close to the car in front, especially into corners like this, turn 11, just get a whitewash of dirty air, and it just makes the front end just not grip up at all. Gives Cook a bit of a poorer exit, but he is closer to Puzan than what Puzan is to Joker. Not close enough. Is Puzan going to go for that move now onto Joker for the race lead? No, we are not going to see that swap in position once again. If Cook can get a strong exit like he does, we could now see the move be made by Cook here now through the final corner. He's going to look to the outside or the inside. Just doesn't have that overspeed that he needs. Potentially just went to saving the battery instead of pushing forwards. Look how close he gets to the back of the Alpine. Had to really back off there to make sure he didn't go into the back of Puzan. The two championship rivals oh so close on the circuit. And as things finish as they are, Puzan, you'll go home your champion. Will be dethroned heading into a race though, so that is a stat no matter what Cook can be proud of. The only driver to dethrone Puzan from the top of the standings, but it will be a very, very short-lived dethroning. And a wall there from Cook, that was nearly detrimental as Rory's into the wall at the pit lane entrance, and it's a safety car. Now this throws things up into the mix. What do drivers go for? Do they go onto another, potentially come into pit lane for another set of mediums, or do they stick out for that trap position? Of course, Cook could potentially come in for a set of the mediums and not lose a position here to Nuke Panda. That gap of 17 seconds. Joker going to come into pit lane? Yes, Joker is in. Puzan will be coming in as well alongside Cook. Surely will be another set of the mediums for these drivers. Another set of the hards here for Joker. Puzan will be going on to a set of the hards, and Cook also onto a set of the hards. So they're all onto another set of hards. Ericsson stayed out and moved up to 4th place. Panda onto the mediums. That's kind of what I was expecting with these drivers, going about 8 to 9 laps on those mediums. And the 18 picks up a 10-second time penalty, speeding into pit lane. But for Cook, this must be agonising. Knowing your championship rival was just there, could have potentially went for a move. But the safety car comes out when you need it the least. So is this safety car probably be out until the end of lap 16, potentially lap 17. Yeah, with Bond being nearly a lap down, it will be to the end of lap 17, I think. As we now see Ericsson and Jack Reynolds into pit lane. Surprised they've both come in at the same time, and surprised Reynolds has come in as well. I would have thought he would have stayed out. Swaggy has certainly stayed out. He's committed to that decision. But very, very, very surprised to see Ericsson in as well. I would have stayed out if I was him. Especially after going around the first time. There's not really any point. You lose more than you would have gained. Yeah, safety car definitely is out for another lap as Mika Bond's only just going through the first few corners. But for Pozan, of course, still looking at that championship victory. Things as they are, but championship rivals are right behind them. So as we wait for catch up to the train, should be at the end of this lap. Back to racing action. Total of 8 laps to go in this Grand Prix. So then as Mika catches up to the back of the safety car, it will be in at the end of this lap. You think the lights are still flashing. But there we go, confirmation the safety car will be in at the very end of this lap. Kind of a late call. Joker will now turn into Burt Mylander. The Joker is now the safety car, and when does Joker decide to go? Joker got weak thing. When does Joker decide to the floor though? Will it catch anybody out? I believe it as late as possible before Puzant doesn't get the launch, and we are now back on the way. We go racing once again here in Vegas, and it's allowed Cook to get a really good launch compared to his championship rival. Around the outside he goes, but he goes deep through the corner. That's allowed New Panda to the inside, and this might be detrimental to his championship challenge unless Panda can get past the pair of them. Contact between Panda and Puzant, but Cook now drops behind the Mercedes car, who will now look to try and get past the Alpine as Joker is breaking away. Late on the brakes now from Panda. Through turn 5, there's contact between the Alpine and the Mercedes, and it's going to be Puzant who holds firm, you would think, through now the remainder of this lap. And Cook has now just seen another car in between himself and the Alpine, but look how much grip New Panda has compared to Puzant, and he's surely going to try any which way to see a way through, as he's now going to look through the outside line with the inside for 10 and 11. Just not able to get the overspeed though, but Puzant is now saving that battery. To the outside goes Panda. Not able to get the run that he needs, but look at that for a launch out of turn 11. I said not able to get the run that he needs out of turn 10, but look at that through turn 11. An absolute slingshot of a launch, and now Cook gets by Puzant as well as he's disconnected. Puzant has disconnected, and what has been a race that has gone from bad to worse. An evening that started off so strongly, a pole position in sprint qualifying. There was contact in the sprint, as here comes Cook onto Panda, as easy as you like, gets the move done. We have just seen the championship decided thanks to a disconnection to Puzant, and in the evening where he could have been crowned World Drivers' Championship in OWLS Racing League Season 7. Season 6, sorry. It is all fallen apart in the last race of the season. When it rains, it certainly does pour, and for Puzant, it is sheer heartbreak. So for Cook, now all he has to do is bring this one home, and he will win the title. No more risks from this point out. He can just let everybody through, and he will claim that title as Harvey picks up a 3-second time penalty. Got side by side now between Liam and Ericsson over 7th and 8th. Liam is able to get by there for P7. Yellow flag in the final sector. That is for Massive, who's gone round, and actually not gone round into the wall there at the chicane. Panda and Harvey now going side by side. Harvey now behind. And stay in that 4th place. So for Cook, he's now nearly a second clear of New Panda. Joker has checked out. He'll win the final 3 in the bounce if things stay as they are, as we're on lap 20 of 25. When we cross the line, we will have 5 more laps remaining. Actually, a virtual safety car that's been deployed, as Massive has retired. Massive has retired from this one. He's brought out a virtual safety car. We're down to 15 runners. That was a safety car, and Puzan joined back. That could have been absolute crucial, and that could have seen a big shift in how this championship goes. But we are now back to green flag racing, as Swaggy has decided to retire in the pit lane. Jack Reynolds also into the pits as well. And Cook is actually now within DRS range here of Joker. So that could be a little battle brewing. And could Cook win the title with a race victory? He won the sprint. Could he potentially do the double? Now for Cook, he will have the DRS on the back of Joker with that DRS open. Be close enough for now is Cook. Panda, of course, still just waiting in the wings. He's a little bit further back as Ben's able to get past his teammate of the A team for 5th place. Essentially, I've got to feel like the longest laps of Cook's career here in the OWLS Racing League. Try and get this one over the line. 4 to go now here in Vegas. Crown our champion for Season 6. So for Cook, he's now getting closer and closer to the back of Joker, as Joker just used a bit too much of that tyre to break away in the first stages when Puzan and Cook were fighting. And it's invited the V-Carb back into contention. Jeremy really is in a shot now of the race victory. We thought Joker cleared the field. We thought Joker was gone. Yes, it was only just over a second, but it was enough to at least keep Cook at arm's reach. But now we are away from that scenario. Cook is no longer in arm's reach. Cook is within striking distance. But no move going to be made here. Coming down into turn 1, you would think, but he is starting to get closer into that slipstream. Are we going to see Cook go for it? No, just behind. 3 more laps to go now, as Muse picks up a 3-second time penalty. And for Cook, 3 more laps, and he's probably, that's why he didn't go for the move either. He's just going to wait till that final lap to potentially have a lunge. Just focusing, not doing anything. Into turn 11. We'll have DRS open down the strip 3 more times in this race, including this one. Probably going to see another switch between the 2 Aston Martins. Actually, Ben is going to fourth here. That could be one of Ben's best results of the season. Here we are then with Cook. Is he actually going to go for the move now? He is going to go for the move now around the outside into the chicane. Joker will fight back late on the brakes from the McLaren. Goes extremely deep through the corner. Able to hold on to the position, but this might now have just allowed Nuke Panda to go for the run to get the opportunity potentially down into the first corner. But no, won't be anywhere near close enough, and does start to derate ever so slightly, just fall a little bit further back. As for Cook, he now makes his way through 3 and 4. Joker goes really wide through 4. It really is. Just sit and wait. Get that move done on Joker, who's actually trying to back him up into Newt Panda here. Yellow flag in the first sector. Oh no, it's for Ben! Ben straight on in the first sector. Oh, and what was looking like to be one of his best results of the season. It's all gone away from him on the penultimate lap. Oh, and that's disaster for Ben, and that was shaping up to be a top 4 finish. It is now going to be only a 10th place finish. And top 4 might actually now go to Liam. Let's quickly have a look at the penalties for these drivers. Actually 10 seconds for the A team and 3 for Harvey. So Liam might not actually get that 4th place at the moment. It'll be a monstrous final lap needed. But we are about to see the champion lap here from Mr. Cook at the front of the field. Now makes his way through turns 1, 2. DRS open. Broken away from Newt Panda. I think the best word for this season when it comes to this championship challenge will be resilience. Cook, he didn't have the strongest start to the season. He was picking up podiums, but it just wasn't looking like everything was clicking as Panda picks up a 3-second time penalty. That will ruin his chances of a potential race victory. But it just looks like things weren't really clicking for Cook at the start of the season. But once we saw Puzant slowly show some signs of weakness, and once we headed to Suzuka, where Cook was able to pick up his first race victory of the season, he has looked in fine form since, alongside the man he's now battling with for this race victory, Joker. He's got to be able to try and get this move done. Down the main straight, he could potentially do the double here in Vegas for the title, the sprint and the feature, as he's going to look to the outside line. It'll be surely late on the brakes here from Joker. It is extremely late on the brakes here from Joker, as he's going to try and now get the run, Cook, but it just is not going to be enough. But he won't care. It will not matter. It is still going to be the crowning moment for the V-Carb driver. He's had to fight and claw back for this championship, and he comes across the line to win the title in fine fashion. Cook takes 2nd place, and it is the title. Joker takes the race victory, but for Cook, all eyes are on him. He gets the jackpot. He gets the grand prize. The championship goes to Cook. He's had to claw and scratch and fight for any opportunity back into this title. And here in Vegas, in both the sprint and the feature, it fell into his lap. It fell into his grasp. And oh boy, did he make sure he grabbed a hold of it? Did he make sure that he held that dear and held that tightly to him? Because he has been able to take this title, and Cook is your Season 6 champion of the world here in the OWLS Racing League. It was disaster for Puzant, who was just unstoppable at the start of the season, but it all fell away from him as it drew on, as we got nearer to the end of the season, whereas Cook and Joker found fine form to snatch points away. Joker, I think, can be very happy with how this season has gone, especially these last 3 rounds. 3 rounds, 3 victories in the main Grand Prix. But your final order of the season is as follows. It's Joker from Cook, from Newt Panda, Harvey, Liam, Ericsson. Then it's Dare, A-Team, Mika, Ben, who is nearly on for a P5, but unfortunately for all the way. Then it's Jack, Noose, Grief, Puzant, who of course disconnected and never rejoined, Swaggy, and then your non-finishers are Swaggy, Massive, Rory, and Alex. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, as we head back to my lovely face for the final time this season. What a roller coaster it has been. From Puzant taking the first 3 rounds of the season. Let's quickly run you through that calendar. He won Zandvoort, Baku, won Imola, repeated the start of the season, and then we saw a win from Liam in Monaco, which he should have got in Imola, but he was held off a little bit later on. Before then, we saw Cook take the first race victory for him in the season. Suzuka, then Puzant fought back in Spa, and then we saw in Spielberg, it went back over to Liam, and in the final 3 rounds of the season, it has been Joker able to collect those 3 victories. And oh boy, has this season certainly ebbed and flowed, and has it just got all the way from... Actually, no, sorry, it didn't go back to Liam and Spielberg. It was Cook who made it 2 on the bounce. He won 2 in a row, and that really gave his title challenge a real hope heading into Singapore. And after that, Silverstone, where Joker was able to pick up that second victory, it went down to 4, went back up to 7, and then after the sprint, it went up into, of course, Cook's favour. For the first time this season, Puzant was dethroned, and he made sure to capitalise that. He slayed the championship leader and made sure he stayed down. But congratulations to Cook on that championship victory. Congratulations to Joker for making it 3 in a row. We start the season with a driver making it 3 in a row. We end the season with a driver making it 3 in a row. I think Joker could certainly be a force to be reckoned with 7 if he does return. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that is going to be all from me here. That is going to be the remainder of this season. That is going to be everything from us here in the comment box. From us here at the OWLS Racing League for Season 6. From, of course, thank you to the drivers, everyone, and also all the owners, the managers who've gone. And also thank you to Driveline Media, who's made every broadcast this season possible to bring the action, to bring what has been a fantastic title decider guys at home as well. But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it from us here in the OWLS Racing League for Season 6. We hope to see you again next season. If I'll be back, I do not know, but we'll have to wait and see. But ladies and gentlemen, I've had one great season. It has certainly, as I mentioned, been a season of resilience, a season of fightbacks, a season of comeback. And could we see more of that next season? Could we see more twists and turns in Season 7? If you want to get involved, join the OWLS server and sign up for Season 7. I think the sign-ups are now underway. And yes, they are underway and now. So if you want to sign up, make sure you join the server by the 20th of February and say, I want a seat, or I want to drive, or reserve, or get a permanence. Everything will be filled out for you. Next season will start on the 29th of March. So make sure to stay tuned to social for that one. That, of course, will be in 3 Sundays' time. So in 3 weeks' time, the OWLS Racing League is back for Season 7. But, as I mentioned, that's going to be all, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you ever so much for joining us this season. I've been Max Ring. It's been a pleasure to take you through the season as well as a whole. Of course, it's all thank you to Nathan and Alex for joining me in this season as they've taken their own stages in the commentary box. And, of course, they would like to say their big thank you as well for joining us along the way. But that is going to be all, ladies and gentlemen. We shall see you in 3 weeks' time. If I'll be back. But of course, it's some high quality commentary coming your way. And we shall see you. See you at the start of next season. Cook is your champion. Puzant was dethroned at the dying embers and lost out. Could Cook retain the title next season? Are we going to see somebody fight back? Are we going to see Joker or somebody else enter the fray? All will be season. All will be found out next season. Thank you ever so much for watching. Thank you for the season. Next time out, 3 weeks' time for round 1. 7. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you, and goodbye.